Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Vicky, Pattison, The Secret 2. This week, I'm joined by none other than author, matchmaker with the most, and star of MAFS and Celebs Go Dating. It's Paul Brunson, everybody! Woo! And the crowd goes wild! Paul.
There we go.
I haven't had that many Americans on, actually, and I feel like my energy is probably what you'd stereotypically assuming Americans would be. You know, I'm fucking fired up all the time. I'm really positive. But I went the extra mile for you there, babe. I don't normally chant.
I appreciate the extra mile. But yeah, you're giving me very New York energy right now because I'm from New York.
Am I?
Yeah, it's very, we're either on or off, and you're on.
Yeah.
I like that. I need that energy.
Well, I feel like so obviously when you hear New Yorker, you think like going a million miles an hour, like New York, like getting their bagels, like, oh, but then also I feel like really funny, really excited, really passionate about sports. Like, am I falling into every stereotype here? Am I offending?
You started with getting our bagels. Like that's you really hit this there, like bam, you know what I mean? But you can remember that, there's many different areas of New York. So where I'm from is Queens. So,
Okay.
it was a different vibe. Queens, where I was from, Jamaica, Queens, was very Caribbean. It was a lot of first and second generation Jamaicans, Haitians, Dominicans. So it felt like you were in an island somewhere, but it was just freezing, but that's pretty much what it felt like.
Mate, I know you're like a big time TV star now and everything, but I just want to let you know, if you ever wanted to do like podcasts, you have got the fucking voice for it. I would listen to you talk all day.
Oh, keep Vicky. Come on. What else you got? You've already gassed me up completely. Already out the gate. If you get everybody up like this.
I do try and be really complimentary, but honestly, like I don't know, I just feel like I'm naturally going to buzz off you this episode. I also feel like you're really handsome as well, mate, so congratulations on that.
I tell you, Vic, you just keep, what else you got, Vicky? What else you got? Come on, let me just sit and be, because can I say this though? This is a complete tangent, but I have to say this because now that I'm really listening to your voices, I've been in the UK for 4 years.
Yeah.
And when I got here, everyone's accent sounded the same to me.
Did it?
Yeah, so I couldn't understand. I mean, I could understand, but I couldn't see the difference between the accents. Now that I've been, and visited, I understand the difference. And what I realized is that the further I went north, the least I could understand. So, and my son is the same way. So I have two boys. My youngest, we just went to Liverpool. And he honestly asked me, do they speak a different language in Liverpool? And I was like, no, it's the same thing. Like, they're speaking the same thing. They're just quick with it. They're quick with it. You got to flow with it. But I will say, as you go north, I prefer, I'm not trying to, shade anybody, but I prefer the accent as you go north.
It's got more character, hasn't
it? Yeah. More just like, just more. There's like more. It's like you can have chicken or you can have chicken with hot sauce. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, babe. We've got all the sauce up north.
All the sauce.
Your poor son wouldn't stand a chance with me because not only am I born and bred Geordie, obviously, I spent 3 years in Liverpool for uni. So yeah, I'm just a mad. I mean, obviously Geordie through and through, but yeah, I'm thick. I'm quite.
But do you notice? Do you change? Like we call it code switching in the US. Do you change your accent based on who you're around?
So I didn't think I did, Paul. That's a really good question. I didn't think I did. And I was just like, wait, I'm the same with everybody. I'm a Geordie. Do you know what I mean? Like, I haven't changed a bit, blah, blah, blah. Proud of me roots, salt of the earth. This was what I thought. And then I did a podcast with a lad from up northeast, lovely fella. And he just went, God, your accent's not softened, hasn't it? Wow. And I was like, do you think? I said, I honestly didn't believe I had. But then I suppose it's subconscious, mate. Like, I've been down here for about 7 years now. And probably for the first 2 years, no disrespect to anybody in London, but I think I probably spent most of it just fucking repeating myself. Because everyone was like, can you slow down? What did you say there? So probably for the sake of like efficiency, I might have mellowed slightly in terms of my voice, but all it takes is half an hour with the lasses up north or like one glass of wine and I'm fucking Jimmy Nail again. You probably won't get that reference, but...
Did you say Jimmy Nailing it?
Jimmy Nail. He's like a famous Geordie fella from Auf Wiedersehen Pet. This is like a cultural thing, but if you ever are bored and want to watch Auf Wiedersehen Pet, like I would recommend.
You really? Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you're recommending, I'm gonna go with it. Can I say on the accent side though? I
Yeah.
find that very interesting, and I see that happen in dating all the time.
Really? You must see so much interesting stuff, though.
Oh my
So,
god.
do women, this is a one, I have to ask this because I've been guilty of this. When I was younger, in particular, not so much now, I'm a grown up, like I'm very much takers like I am. But when I was younger, I used to do the whole hot, soften me voice, baby voice thing for a fella.
Oh my
That's got to be normal, hasn't
god.
it? Cringy, but normal.
Yeah, actually, a lot of women, what they do is they go higher in their voice. Oh no, nice to meet you. And then you know what the fellas do? Hey
Yeah.
Vicky, how you doing? They go deep, and it's because of us thinking of what the perfect stereotype is for the person that we're with, and then form
Yeah.
fitting that. And that's the reason why I always say that when you meet someone, you never meet them, you meet their representative, and then it's over time that you really find
Yeah.
out who they are.
No, yeah, I mean, you always put like you always endeavor to put your best foot forward on a date, but I think like it almost feels like a bit like an interview, like initially. And I am quite a confident person, but even I felt like I was putting forward like I would say best version, but it's absolutely not true. It's just exactly what I thought the person wanted to see.
Exactly. It's a representative of you.
Yeah,
It's not you. And what people find is that the people who are able to show who they truly are early on are the people who have stronger relationships. It's fascinating. Like even back on the accent thing, what I've noticed is that, so I do a lot of studies, right?
yeah,
And what I'll see is that people will take the accent of, so say they're from up north, they're on a date with someone from London, they'll take
yeah,
it and they will unintentionally, so subconsciously, they're softening the accent. And I also notice here that everyone tries to go posh. That's the thing. It's like, let me be made in Chelsea.
yeah.
That's what I want to do. And the idea is that that's somehow like it makes you a better person, which it doesn't. So accents are fat. I think, by the way, I think that in the UK, that accents is one of the number one discriminating points. So people will not date you or not
Yeah.
be in a relationship with you because of your accent. They'll stereotype you because of your accent.
Like a specific well, there's all these polls, isn't there? And you see them on Instagram, and I'm not sure how like valid they are or how like authentic, but they like sort of rank people's accents based on like polls and things like that. Geordie luckily always ends up quite near the top. I think we've got like a musical lilt to it. I think it's quite cheerful. But poor Birmingham always gets put like right near the bottom.
Oh,
And I
really?
think, yeah, honestly, but then I feel like Thomas Shelby, Peaky Blinders. I don't know if you've watched
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like, show me a bird who wouldn't shag him.
I know.
So
I'm saying you're right. It depends who it is, right? It
yeah, of
depends who it is.
course, it's
Yeah.
got to. It's really funny you bring up accents because obviously my partner Erkan is born and raised Southeast London. So if I could compare his accent to somebody you've probably met on Celebs Go Dating, I'd probably say he's more of like a Pete type. He was on Towie for a bit.
Got you.
Blinking, you would have missed him. He was only on for 5 minutes.
Oh,
He was dead. He's dead nice. He's too nice for reality TV. Really, that's what I always tell him. He didn't have that edge that you sort of need to kiss people's girlfriends and stuff. So he's got that voice, and we've obviously been together 4 years now, Paul, and we're thinking like marriage and babies and all that stuff. And I'm like, we can have kids down here, Erkan, by all means, but when they start to get to like 2 and they're starting to pick up words like I want to be back up north because I want them to speak like me. And it's the first time he's openly admitted he was like, no, I can't have a house full of people who speak like you. I fucking hate your accent.
I love it. Oh, hold on though. So Vicky, this is good. So you've been in a relationship for 4 years then?
Yeah.
For 4 years. So
Is that good or bad? What you're going to tell us? I'm nervous.
No, I love. Well, let me see. Let me ask a few questions. I'll tell you if it's good or bad. So,
oh God, we're switching hats. I love this. Go.
All right, so 4 years. Do you believe that you two will get married?
Yes.
Okay. So when do you believe you will become engaged to be married?
I'm engaged now, Paul.
Oh, you're engaged.
Yes.
Okay, let me see the ring. Let me see the ring. Let me see what you're working with.
I can't. Hang on, I'm going to get it for you. Hang on. I've been working this morning, so I didn't have it on. I'm dead paranoid. I'm going to go get it. Okay.
All right, let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, that's big.
I know.
That's huge, actually. What does this guy do? This guy has money.
No, so oh bless him. He just is like really sweet and a bit of a saver. We were together for like a year and a bit, and I absolutely fuck me, Paula. And he went upstairs. I'm proper out of breath. Sorry, son. So we were together about a year and a half, and like I absolutely knew, like all my listeners would be bored titless of this story, so I won't tell it again. But we had this first date, and he did this like really little gesture. Like I'd had my heart broken like about 3-4 months before and was in the worst way, really. Didn't expect the date to amount to anything, thought I was still pretty much traumatized. And like I was telling him a little bit about it, not too much. I didn't want to scare him off and sound like a man hater. But I mentioned, I'd been hurt, and he just leant across the table and held me hand.
There you go.
And it was such a simple gesture, but it was so intimate, and it really shocked us at how cute it was and like emotionally intelligent. So I sent me pals a message, and I went, "Lasses, buy a fucking hat, because this one's the one." So I think we've always known we were headed this way, and I think he's been squirreling away for quite some time.
Wow! Hold on, I love it. So
He's cute, and he.
so then you're thinking definitely marriage, and then definitely children.
Yeah, well, I'm going to freeze my eggs in January, Paul.
Nice.
I'm 34, and I just think let's not rush it, but let's also protect like future Vicky and Erkan's happiness, because you never know, do you?
No, you never know. I love it. So then here's the big question. Have you
Go on.
both done premarital counseling yet?
Thought you were going to say premarital sex, and I was like, yeah, mate, that fucking ship has definitely sailed.
Oh my god! But have you though? Have you done it?
No, so
Yeah.
God, I feel like I'm like, do you always? Your voice. I told you your voice is really nice. Does your energy always do this? Like, I felt like I was about to tell you something really honest there that I've not really said out loud, and then I was like, "There's something about Paul that makes me want to do that." Do you get that a lot?
Well, I tell you, if that's how it makes you feel, then I say run with it, because that's
Yeah, I'm going to do
vulnerability.
it.
That's vulnerability. What do you got for us, Vicky?
Well, I'm going to do it. So we did, like, obviously I love Erkan, he's the best. And like all most people say is like us on Instagram, like kissing, holding hands, having a really nice time in glamorous locations, looking like lovely bits of kit.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try my best to show both sides of the coin, because we all know nothing's perfect. That's just not real life.
Right.
But we did this thing where like we moved into this house, which was like a big deal financially. Like it was a fucking big stretch, but I really wanted it, so we pushed.
Okay.
And then we also, like, just because moving wasn't stressful enough, got like a Labrador puppy.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And and it was just ended up, we'd gone from this lovely little life in lockdown in this flat where we were so comfortable and just had each other, to like exploding. The world was open again. We had like this house to pay for, this dog to train. And I went back to work, and he went back to work, and we just really struggled. And we had this like super hard, like couple months where it felt like neither of us could say the right thing to each other. Like we were just making each other, I don't know, I felt like we weren't making each other that happy. And that's what I always consider a healthy relationship to be, like, used to make each other better. So I was talking to my life coach about it, and he was like, you absolutely need to go to relationship therapy.
Yes.
And I was like, so up for it, mate, because I believe better out than in. I love talking about my problems. I'm a natural communicator. Erkan's slightly more stoic.
Okay.
He is Turkish Cypriot, and they're very like,
very, very stoic.
Yeah, strong men will be men.
Right.
Fucking, I'm not talking about my feelings. Like, I've only seen him cry once, so I think that was when his football team lost. So yeah, so it was a bit of a push to get him to do it, but we spoke to someone.
Okay.
And we found it super beneficial.
Good. I love that. So you know what? I love so many things about that story, but in particular, what I love is that he was he didn't want to go to therapy, right? He didn't want to go to counseling, but it sounds like he really did it for you. And I think that's the key with someone who you know is a good partner, is that they're willing to do things for you that they may not do for themselves. And to your point of it was like it was healing. I think that in all relationships you're doing one of two things. You're either healing together or you're creating trauma together. There's no in between. And that's the reason why counseling and therapy is so important. So important. So I'm proud of you both for doing that. And I would encourage you to continue doing it, because you're always going to have issues. always. Like,
Yeah.
you think the Labrador and the big houses, I mean, wait until you throw kids in the mix.
I know, mate. I'm already dreading it.
Oh my gosh, it changes the game. It changes the game.
Well, and I suppose that's a really good question for me because I know you are in a gorgeous, healthy, happy relationship with your lovely wife and you've got these 2 little boys. But people would probably assume you have everything figured out. Like, are there moments with you and your partner where you're like, fuck me, we need to speak to someone?
Oh yeah, I mean, so one is I see a therapist in particular because I do reality TV. So
Oh, mate, you're preaching to the choir. 12 years strong, mate. There's not a therapist I haven't seen.
oh my god, I always say, especially if you do British reality TV, you need to have a therapist on speed dial. Like, it's pretty much the requisite. You know what I mean? So
I was doing.
that's one. But we have we have not only a therapist, but we also have relationship mentors. And I think that's something
Oh,
very important. So, with social media and Vicky, from what I know about you, what I do adore about you is that you show the real. Like,
yeah,
you understand that social media is show and tell, but you also understand that it's about unveiling who you really are, right? And what happens in the relationship is that so many of us are always asking ourselves, well, what is normal? This is the reason why most people break up with the
yeah,
partners, because they go online and they see
yeah.
celebrities loved up in Ibiza or wherever with their partner.
Fucking Maldives,
Ex-
perfect bods, looking
perfect
like they've got knee problems.
perfect photos, perfect drink, perfect bodies. You know what I mean? Everything.
Bastards.
Complete utter bastards, And then you ask yourself, well, oh my God, I don't have that with my partner. I'm at home, it's
Yeah,
freezing. And so you say to yourself, well, then what I have is not normal. What they have is normal, and therefore I need to get out of this situation. And this
yeah,
is the reason why I say it's so important to have mentors, romantic mentors or couples mentors in your life, because these are people who you actually can talk to, right? These are people who you may see once a month for dinner. These are people who you might see, every 2 weeks for a coffee. And you get a chance just to see how a real couple interacts, because every couple argues,
yeah,
every couple has disagreements, every
yeah,
couple every couple gets upset, every couple's dealing with trauma.
yeah.
It's not perfect all the time, so that's why I love of that. So we have relationship mentors, and we have therapists.
Well, I feel honestly, like I'm, like I said before, such a huge advocate for therapy in any form, like life coach, therapists, like counselors, whatever it is that helps you work through stuff. Because we're all just trying to put ourselves together, aren't we?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you raised such a good point, Paul. I always say the problem with social media is it's made perfect seem normal,
Yes.
and now nobody's interested in normal anymore.
Yes.
And like, I feel like that's such a shame because I love my greatest pleasures in life actually come from the normal.
Right.
Like, I went to like a big fancy awards last night and I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
Like,
Me
I
too.
look,
I hate
I
awards.
hate them. Like, my heart's pounding, the back of my knees are sweating. I don't feel thin enough.
Right.
I don't feel like, even if I love my outfit in the car, by the time I get there, I don't feel good enough.
Right.
You know what? It's all just, I feel like I say the wrong things to everybody. I'm just nervous the whole time. But when I'm at my happiest?
At
When I
home.
fucking get home and I have a Big Mac.
Yeah. No, you know what though, Vic? So I'm the same way. Do you feel like you're an introvert? You must be an introvert then.
So I'm an
Ambivert.
introvert, whatever it is when everybody thinks you're a fucking extrovert, but secretly you're an introvert.
All right. So you're an intro. So there's an introvert, there's extroversion, but there's ambiversion, which is a
Okay.
combination of the two. But it sounds like, well, here's the $1 million question is, before you go to an event, like last night, before you go to an event, what what puts you in the best space to go to that event? Is it by yourself, or is it with a big group of people to get lots of energy to go to the event?
I have to have like when I used to have to go to these things by myself because I didn't have a significant other. I used to have to, and this is my personal thing and something that I've really taken steps to work on. I used to drink, Paul, to calm my nerves,
Mm,
and because I was
mm,
so. Do you know what? I used to have a drink with Pete because I was so terrified,
yeah.
and like drinking with Pete is never a good idea, quite frankly, because
Can I
he's a
say this for the
weapon.
record? I do, for the record, and this is something that I shouldn't be proud of, but it's the truth.
Go
Is,
on,
you
you
know
can keep up with Pete.
you, so all right, here's the quick story, Ricky. You're going to appreciate this. So, Pete's been on Celebs Go Dating at least 16 times.
More than you, mate.
Yeah.
More than you.
He's been on more than Tom Reed Wilson. You know what I mean? And every time, every series, this guy he's like, all right, Paul, you're going to come drink with us. Paul, you're going to come drink with us. And I always say, no, I'm not doing that.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So this series, to get him to come back, no. But this series, the first thing he says to me before he's like, hello, he says, Paul, at least once this series will you come? So I said, okay, all right, cool, we could do this.
Yeah.
So by the end of the series, we're in Cyprus. It's the whole thing is wrapped. We're having a good time. He's like, this is the night, and I was like, this guy is like, he's trying to kill me. Like his whole thing is, I'm gonna kill Paul. He even stopped while we were filming. Vicky, while we're filming the final scene, he said, Paul, remember what you owe me. I was like, yo, he's going mad. Like he's going mad with this thing. But it's okay. Because he forgot I was Jamaican. So we're out, right? We're doing our thing. And you know what I did, Vicky? You know how many shots? Because tequila is his thing, it's my thing. So normally people, what's the most number of shots you've ever seen somebody order?
Oh, I mean, like 10, and I feel like it's over the top, you know?
So I ordered 32 shots.
Oh my God. I have anxiety just hearing that.
I ordered 32 shots of tequila. They put them on big, massive, trays. And I had 32. I'm balancing 32. I handed a couple out to people, but then I found Pete in the corner, right?
Oh, typical. Creepy Pete in the corner.
Exactly. Right. I had to pull all the women out from the corner.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Surrounded by his harem.
Yeah.
You fucking love that.
I laid all the shots on the table. I said, all right, this is what you wanted. Let's do it.
Let's go, son.
We went shot for shot, shot for shot, shot for shot, shot for shot, shot for shot. People getting shot for shot. And he was like, all right, man, I'm good.
You win. I was wrong. I concede defeat. Babe, you have got some stamina to do that with Pete Wicks, because let me tell you, in 10 years of friendship, there has never been one time where I've been like, come on, Pete, I'm still going. Like every time he puts me to bed. Like, and I'm a Geordie, so we're up there.
I know. I've heard about you. I've heard about the Geordie crew. I've heard, and I know several. And
yeah, you've had quite a few of them on, to be fair, haven't you?
Quite a few. On Married at First Sight as well. We've had a couple.
Oh my God, yeah, you have. I can't wait to talk to you about all of them, because you know I'm such a huge reality TV fan, right?
Oh my gosh,
I need all the goss. Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you in part 1. I'm going to have a quick break and a wee, and can I have you back in part 2, please, as well?
Yeah, we're going to have a wee? Are we having a wee together, or is
you can have your wee and I'll have mine if you want.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. All right, cool.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of Vicky, Pattison, The Secret 2. This week I am joined by none other than Paul C. Brunson. What does the C stand for?
The C stands for Carrick.
Does it?
Carrick. Very important.
I wouldn't be surprised if it stood for charming cunt, quite frankly, because you are so fucking smooth, mate. You are so fucking smooth. Paul C.C. Brunson, that's what I'm going to start calling you.
C. I said, don't ask about the second C.
Don't ask. Ask Vicky Pattison about the second C. That's what you need to tell people. I'll fucking tell them, Paul. I'm not bothered.
Oh my God. I will ask them to ask you about
that. So I feel like when we're at school and we're like deciding what we want to be and stuff, like, you know, we are pushed towards being a nurse or a doctor or a school teacher or a graphic designer. Like, you know, I know the sky's the limit and stuff, but I never saw matchmaker in my careers advisor's little office. And I suppose I just wanted to know, did you fall into that? Have you always been romantic and interested in love? What's your story?
All right. So the best story that I don't know if I've ever told this story.
We have an exclusive.
This is an exclusive. So you're asking, like, where did I get the inspiration?
Yeah, suppose, yeah.
This feeling. So when I was in kindergarten. So kindergarten for us in the States was about 6 years old.
Yeah.
We still would take
Like
naps.
reception.
Okay. Oh, that's your
Oh,
reception. Yeah, yeah. We would take naps. It's
cute,
beautiful, right?
cute.
You take naps during the day. You'd have your little cot. So we would have little sleeping bags, and then
America sounds fucking great.
and oh yeah, you roll out your sleeping bag. You take a nap, right? Now, in my nursery school, and I bet you this happened almost all over the world, is that as little as kids, like we're demented, right? So it's like all the boys would sleep in kind of one area, and it's like, oh, don't talk to the girls, oh, don't talk to
They got
the
cooties.
cooties, yeah, yeah, So all the girls were on one side, and uh, my teacher wrote home to my mom and said, we might have a problem with Paul because he starts off taking a nap with the boys, and when everyone's asleep, he then goes over and gets in the sleeping bag with the girls.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
I honestly, I didn't see anything wrong with that,
No.
because
why would you, babes? You're having a lovely fucking time.
Is there anything wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Just making friends, aren't you?
Just making, and that's all I was doing. And I would go over, and what I would do is I would go over, and we would just have conversations. We would just talk, right? And then I go over to the boys, and like, yeah, man, the girls have got it going on over there, right? They're it smells.
You're missing out over here, lads.
So, but in all honesty, is that I love people watching. I love people, and I love psychology. That's really where it started. It was my obsession with understanding why we do the things that we do. That's really where it began.
Honestly, I always say, like, there's nothing. People are so interested in me, and I'm very much the same. Can sit and watch people for ages, and actually, I felt like I was just a gossip when I was younger. Like, I'd always be like, oh my God, have you heard what's happened to so-and-so? I never reveled in people's misfortune. It wasn't like if someone had broke up or something, but I would love it when people got together. Yeah. And like, I'd love to see celebrities get married. Like, I'd love to see who people choose and how things work and when they don't. And I don't know, I find what you do so interesting, but you must feel such a sense of like responsibility, Paul, and obligation. Like, you've got people, I think, at the very bones of most of what we do just want to be loved.
Yes.
And if you're helping facilitate that, especially for, oh God, I hate when I say this, but as women get older, like, we start to feel the pressure and the stress, like, and if you're sort of dealing with women like that, and even men like that, I think it must be an overwhelming sense of pressure.
Oh yeah, it's immense pressure. But one thing, just to footnote, because you're talking about women feeling the pressure, but what a lot of people don't understand or know, because it's not in pop culture, is that, believe it or not, men, once we're talking about 40 plus, right, typically have the biggest challenges in relationships. Men are the first in relationships to say, I love you at that age. Men have the highest, and this is a sad stat, but there's logic behind it, is men have the highest suicide rate in relationships as a result of breakups. So that alone tells you the immense pressure that men feel as well. So you're right, like, it's everyone's feeling the pressure. And for me, so I was a professional matchmaker for 10 years in the States. My wife and I founded a matchmaking agency.
Is Jillian on it as well?
She was. We sold we were together, and we had a whole team, and then we sold the agency in 2016. And it was one of the best periods of our life, because when you're matchmaking, should I say, off TV versus on TV, you have many chances at this, right? So someone would sign up and they would work with you for 6-7 months, and you may introduce them to 15, 20 people.
Sure.
Now, on television, on a show like Married at First Sight, or even Celebs Go Dating, you're on Married at First Sight, you got one shot. You're introducing them to one person. On Celebs Go Dating, it might be 3 or 4 people. So it's
nowhere near enough. It's nowhere near enough people to get a legitimate match, really, is it?
It's hard. It's hard. Now, we have had some very strong matches on Married at First Sight, I shall say, and we still have the highest success rate, believe it or not. on Married at First Sight. If you look at the last 3 series of Married at First Sight UK.
Well, you've got, and I kick myself because I only really massively got into it this year, but I did watch bits of last year's, and I seen there's a couple from last year's have got a baby.
Yeah, so we have so I started 3 series ago.
Right.
3 series ago, we had 4 couples.
Mm-hmm.
3 of those 4 couples are still together. 3, and they have and there's 1 baby. Paul and Allie have a baby, right? So that was the first
Married at First Sight baby.
Yeah, that was the first Married at First Sight UK baby. And then the second series that I was on, Adam and Taya have a baby, but we also have Matt and Dan together as well, which is great.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
love them too.
Yeah,
how lovely are they?
Yeah, great. And then off this series, we have Zoe and Jenna together.
Of course you do, mate. I've had Adrian and Thomas on from.
I love them. I love them both dearly for different reasons.
Yeah, of course, fair enough. They're so different, but such lovely lads. I've been away so much recently, annoyingly. And there's so many episodes of Married at First Sight. It's not like a 1 a week kind of thing. Like, you have to really catch up. So I've still got so many to do. But mind you, you've had a mad series this year, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, who did you have any favorites?
So I really love Jordan and Shanita, and from the get-go, I was like, they are fucking perfectly matched. Like, he's from up my way. Like, there's loads of lovely Geordie lads. So I was like, oh, and he loves his mom, and she was just cute as a bunny in a bow tie. So I was like, this is my, like, if I was a betting woman, I would say they were going to like stay married. Like, I would put money on it. But then when I seen it, I obviously read in the news that it sort of all collapsed, and I actually felt really upset about that one.
Vicky, I've cried, or should I say, I've cried once, almost cried a second time. 10 years in television, right? The first time I cried was actually Adam and Taya. When Adam,
I've got the baby.
Yes, at the reunion he confessed about how much he loved Taya, and I was like, this is what the whole process is about. Blah blah blah. I was dead.
He gets it. He gets it.
Yeah. So I'm crying, right? And then the second time is when Jordan and Shanita are on the couch. It's the reunion. And we asked them, we say, are you like, Jordan, are you sure? Shanita's crying. She's in it. Like, there was a moment where she was just waiting for Jordan to say, all right, Jordan, are you in this? And Jordan just said, no. And I was crying. I was in my, like, I was tearing up, and I was crying, not for Shanita. I was actually crying for Jordan, because I don't think he understood what he was giving up.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He absolutely didn't. And like, I've read his posts since, the big Instagram post he did, where he was sort of like, I can't apologize enough to her. Like, I've got things I need to work on myself. And I sort of thought, listen, I'm not here to judge anybody, because for loads of years I did reality TV and everybody had an opinion of me. And it was sometimes really unfair. So I'm not judging Jordan at all, but I thought, you've been overwhelmed, you've felt like a little bit cornered, and you've made a snap decision, and I actually think you're regretting it now. If he's not regretting not staying married to her, he's definitely gutted they haven't got a relationship anymore.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, he was under immense pressure and stress, and a lot of people don't recognize that when he came into the process, the issue that he said he had was making snap decisions.
Oh, really?
That was it.
Well, that explains that.
Yeah, so he fell right back into that. But at the end of the day, I love Jordan, and I think that he is a super special, sweet, stand-up. Like, he's great. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And my hope is that they get back together.
I know, so I'm a total hopeless romantic. It explains why I've been engaged 3 times. But yeah, I honestly believe like they'll find their way back to each other.
Yeah, I think when it's meant to be, you do. I don't believe. Well, do you believe in soulmates?
So I read somewhere, I don't know if this is a soulmate thing, but this is a love thing.
Okay.
So I read somewhere that you have 3 loves in your life, right, Paul?
Okay.
And your first love is like puppy love. That's what people call it. But it's in no way any less important, and like it doesn't deserve any less gravity. It feels so real. It's your first experience at all these emotions coursing through your body, and it's normally with someone really lovely, and that will like stay with you forever, and you'll always have like a moment where you appreciate that and you'll think really fondly of them. So that's love number one. Love number two, really horribly, is someone who has to teach you something. And it doesn't mean you didn't love them for a while or they didn't love you for a minute, but ultimately, like, it doesn't work out, and it normally has quite hard, like quite catastrophic, I suppose, like fallout from it. Heartbreak's horrible, but it will have to have it. We'll have to learn, and then your third one is your big, final, important love that is so special, and you stay with them forever, and you're just a happy bear, and it makes you feel safe. This is what I've got with Erkan. Like, he makes us feel. He's the one who taught me, Paul, that sitting at home worrying where someone wasn't love.
Right.
And like arguing wasn't love.
Right.
I used to think that if I was in love with someone, you had to like have these dramatic,
right.
Yeah, but then also be like shouting, screaming, because I was like, it's just because I love him so much, we're just so passionate. Bullshit. That was toxic.
Okay.
And he's the one who taught me all of that. So I read there was those 3 types of love, and like everyone goes through them once in their life. Do you think that's true?
No.
You fucking burst my bubble on my podcast, you asshole.
Oh my god. I felt terrible. I was like, Vicky's going through these 3 things, and I can't disagree more, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm gonna let her.
You don't? Oh my god. Okay, well, no, this is so interesting, because I was about to do an Instagram post about this. So I'm so pleased you've stopped me dead in my tracks. Tell me your opinion on it then.
All right. So, well,
You cheeky little monkey.
what I do agree with what you said, there was one thing I definitely agree with, and I think it's something that more people need to know, and that is that you learned from your fiance that what love is it begins with safety.
Yeah.
It is about safety, and it's about effort. And you need to, everyone in this world, marriage is not for everyone, but we're not built to live life alone. And that means that you need to be with someone that you feel safe with, that you could be you could be vulnerable, you could show your emotion, you could share your dreams, you could share your fears. We all need this in life. And so I completely agree. And I'm so proud that you see that now as love. That's so important.
I mean, it took us 15 years, son, and a lot of failures, so don't be that proud.
Yeah, but you've got it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're going to teach that to your children, right? So that's beautiful. Now, to the other things that you're saying. let me say this. Here's why I disagree, with all due respect, though. But why I
Okay.
disagree with that.
Every day's a school day, Paul. I'm happy to be proved wrong as long as I learn.
Okay, all right, this is fair. So your first love, without question, is a love for one of your caregivers. That's the first love that we have.
Okay.
This is where our attachment style is formed. And our attachment style is the most important determining factor to how we love as an adult.
Is that similar to love language?
No.
Or is it different? It's different. Okay.
So with your attachment style, when we're a child, right? When we're literally an infant, we all have a caregiver. It could be, mother, father, grandparent. It could be someone who's adopted us, right? But we all have a caregiver. Based on how that caregiver shows us love is how we attach and how we see love. Now, there's 3 primary types of love.
Okay.
At that stage, 3 primary. One is called secure. That is when you feel like, as an infant, if you're about to cry, that you can go to your caregiver and your caregiver is going to hold you, is going to comfort you. You feel secure with your caregiver. Okay. That's one type. There's another type that's called anxious. Anxious is when your caregiver sometimes gives you love, but sometimes they don't. And maybe they're not giving you love, not because they're mean, but because they're working, right?
Yeah.
Mom has a job, dad has a job, they're working 100 hours a week, they don't see you a lot. So therefore, you're anxious. Sometimes they're there for you, sometimes they're not. That's anxious, right?
Inconsistency breeds that, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And then the last type is, and there's, we've like through science, there's several more, but the 3 primary are these: secure, anxious, and then the last type is called avoidant.
Oh, that's awful. I already feel like this one's bad.
It is terrible. Avoidant is when your caregiver just is not there for you. And so you have to learn to self-soothe. you
That's
you you
awful.
you learn that there really is no such thing as love, right? You can only take care of you. And so what ends up happening is, as an infant, you then attach to your caregiver in one of these three ways: secure, anxious, or avoidant. And then when you fall in love the next time, it's not that you're falling in love as an adult for the first time. What you're doing is you are now going to
Uh,
model
yeah, like
your
apply what you
attachment,
think love
what
is
love
to
is.
some.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is the reason why we have such difficulty in relationships. Because you think about this. Think about we always hear about the couples who you have the one, it could man, woman, doesn't matter, right? Man, man, woman, woman, doesn't matter. But you have one person who is constantly saying, well, you haven't called me. Did you get home yet? Oh, you haven't responded.
Anxious,
That's
anxious. Yeah.
exactly, right? Then you have the other person that says, you know what? We don't even need to talk. I mean, we're dating, but we don't have to see each other, right?
Yeah.
Or we don't have to physically touch all the time. We'll have sex, after the event, but then we don't even have to stay in the same flat.
That could never be me. That's like the furthest away from me. Like I need to be constantly reassured.
So it could be anxious or it could be secure for you. But
Yeah.
here's the most dangerous part. The most dangerous part is that if you want to have successful relationships, you need to either be secure yourself or you need
Hmm.
to learn to be secure, which means that you need to be in relationships with people who have a
Who
secure
s- who
attachment
are
style.
secure. Yeah.
Because as an adult, your attachment style will shift. So that also means if you're out here, and this is why I say, people say, oh, it doesn't matter who you date, just date everybody. No. If
It
you
does.
date someone who is avoidant and you date them long enough, and you, even if you're secure, you could become avoidant.
110%. Like that is so so true. So for years I considered myself to be and so many women do this, a fucking rehabilitation center for fellas who were a little bit broken.
I hear
And
you.
like I used to say to my mates all the time, like, oh, he's a little bit this or he's a little bit that, but I feel like I can fix him. Like I feel like he needs me. Like I feel like I'm making him better.
Hmm.
I was never making these men better, Paul. They were just in turn passing on their trauma to me,
Yep.
making me a bit more broken every time.
Yep.
And it's right, like you take what however that person treated you and you go on to the next and you treat the next person a bit like that. You're just in a way breaking more people. It's so not fair.
Abs-
I think, oh, I feel like I'm having a therapy session.
but no, what you just said was poetic. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Honestly, mate, like I'm so lucky that I found Erkan, and I do feel so grateful that I found somebody nice. And I do feel really grateful that you're out there, like helping celebs, helping normal people find love and stuff. Because I do think in this day and age, like we absolutely, I think it's harder than it's ever been to find somebody. Am I the only person who feels like that?
No, no, everyone does. But you know what's interesting about that is, so every generation feels that way. Like,
Yeah.
I talked to
We
my
all think we've had it the worst.
grandmother, she was like, oh, we had it the worst. I only had three men to choose from in my little village in Jamaica. It's one of these where every
Fair play to her.
generation.
Fair play.
Yeah. But to your point, though, I truly believe this has been the hardest time in human history to find a partner. I won't even say a spouse, but a partner that you
Mm,
could be your best with. And the reason for that, I mean, there's so many reasons for that, but this
yeah.
is the hardest time ever.
I mean, I'm terrible because I make a fortune off social media and I absolutely fucking love it. I'm obsessed with it. Like, it's a bit of I do try and be more measured with my usage because I know it can be toxic. But I blame social media for a lot of this. Like, going back to what we said before, Paul, like, everybody sort of sees all these perfect lives on Instagram and then they don't want to have to work at a relationship
Yeah,
because they think you shouldn't, they think oh, nobody else is.
yeah,
Do you think that's a bit of a problem?
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very instant. Is that
Yeah.
I don't think that we appreciate, unless you're in a loving relationship, how much work is required.
Oh, no.
And it is work, and it's constant effort, and it's not like effort once a week, once a month. It's every day showing up and willing to put the effort in. And that's why I always go back to Great relationships are built on safety and effort. If you have safety and you have effort, you can make it work. I mean, obviously, you need physical attraction in there too. You know,
It doesn't hurt,
oh
mate.
man, you need it. Well, I mean, well, let me ask you: do you believe that you need to be attracted, physically attracted to your partner in order for your relationship to work?
So when I was younger, like I used to, when I was listing the things I wanted in a fella, I used to be like tall, dark, handsome, and like it was so important to me. And as I got older, and I dated all these tall, dark, and handsome knobheads, I absolutely thought, hang on a second, like I'm doing something wrong here. And it was because my priorities were all mixed up. Yes, I believe it's lovely to want to like kiss someone, have intimacy, like find somebody attractive. That's so important. But actually, like what's far more important is that they're there for you,
Right.
that they're kind, that they make you laugh, that they make you feel safe. And listen, I'm really lucky. Erkan is a fucking wicked bit of kit.
Yeah.
He's so lush, but he's also like really, really handsome too, and really, really kind too. And I don't know, like I think there's got to be a mix.
Yeah.
There has to be a mix. Like in 40 years' time, we're all gonna look like fucking raisins, aren't we? So you need to fall in love with who a person is, right?
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, you do, but also too. So here's so in counseling, I would ask a question like that, and I would listen to what the person says, and based on that, I would start to judge them. I shouldn't
Oh,
say
you
that, but yeah,
bitch!
I would start to judge it.
Did you just judge me there?
I,
What did you
I
What did you gleam?
I did, and what I said is I was like, all right, she's mature,
Oh,
because here's the thing: as you mature, and it's not always about age, right? You need to go through some experiences in life, but as you
yeah,
mature, what that really means is you start to value more things in life. You start to
yeah,
value a partner that can give to you, right? In communication, you start to value someone who is, funny. You start to
yeah,
value someone who shares your values, right? You start to value other things, and those things that you value are attractive, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
listening to you, it sounds like earlier in your career, in your dating career, right?
Dating career. I like the sound. I actually like that.
Early,
It was graft early doors, mate. Let
oh,
us tell you, it was fucking
okay,
hard work.
I believe it, right? You didn't, you valued probably limited number of things like height,
Yeah,
and that kind of thing. But no,
weird.
you value a whole suite. I agree with you. You need to see it all. You need to appreciate it all. You need a little, at least a minimal level of physical attraction, but you need shared values. You need shared vision. You need to feel safe. You need to know they're putting effort in.
And I think that comes like I wish we knew the benefit of hindsight. It's a lovely thing, isn't it? And like I wish I knew all those things when I was sort of like 17, 18, because it would have saved me a lot of heartache. But again, like I do feel like you grow through what you go through.
Yes. Yeah.
And honestly, like I'm a better person for some of the relationships that didn't work. It taught me how I don't want to be as well, and taught me what I don't want. So I don't believe I would have found Erkan and been as happy as we are now if it wasn't for some of the bad ones. So
Yep.
no, I think even though it was tempestuous and a little bit rocky, I think I needed some of the ups and downs of my little dating life.
Yeah. Well, and we all do. We all do.
Yeah. I wanted to ask because we are running out of time and I know you're a very busy man, but I think there's been a huge like explosion of dating apps on the
Mhm.
scene. And speaking as someone who has friends who've tried them and had varying degrees of success, like one of my mates just got married in September to a man she met on Bumble,
Nice.
and they are the nicest couple. She's got this amazing little boy. They're probably going to have loads more gorgeous children. They've got 2 sausage dogs. It's a perfect setup, right? But then I also have some friends who've like had really, I don't know, really terrible experiences. I wanted to get an expert's opinion on dating apps.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna give you the real, okay? And not everyone's
Hit
gonna like.
me.
All right, Vicky. Not everyone's gonna like this. All right.
Oh God.
But here's the thing. 20 years ago, twenty
Mm,
years ago, if you were going to meet a significant other,
yeah.
you would meet them at work, you would meet them at the bar, right,
Hmm.
or at a club, or you would meet them through friends and family, right?
Yeah.
Those were the number one sources of meeting a significant other.
Mm,
Online dating apps were not even top on the list.
yeah.
Today, 80%,
No.
8 out of 10 spouses, right? initially meet their partner online. So it could be a dating app like Tinder, or it could be on Instagram, right?
Uh-huh.
But it initiates online. So what
Right.
we have to accept, right? I get that people are disgruntled about online. I get that times have changed on us. I get that.
Mm.
But we have to accept that this is now how the world operates. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you can't still meet a significant other at work or friends and family or at the club.
But
But
you've
but yeah, if you're serious about trying to meet someone, you need to be
yeah.
online as well.
Yeah. You've got to like the world changes and you've got to roll with the punches, or you get left behind.
Yes.
Um okay then. So the next question I have is, and I promise I am getting near the end of it, right? Because I feel like this is one I want to know just because I'm a fan of both the shows. Out of Celebs Go Dating and Married at First Sight, which is your favorite one to make?
Oh man, you trying to get me? Are you trying to get me fired? You trying to
No,
get me?
babes, are
Vicky,
you
you
mad?
trying to get me? You trying to get me let go? What?
No, I want to see you on the TV. Like, I'm just generally curious.
No,
Come on.
no. All right, this is gonna sound super political. All right,
Uh-huh.
super political. But I love them for two completely different reasons.
Okay.
Completely different reasons. For Celebs Go Dating, and every
Aye.
celeb that's ever been on Celebs Go Dating is going to appreciate. They're not going to like it, but they're going to appreciate what I say. Is that
Yeah.
I came to the UK because of Celebs Go Dating. I
Yeah.
thought I would be here for 3 months, and it's been 4 years already. And
You
I,
stayed for the fish and chips, folks.
it was all about the fish and chips and the gravy and the gravy.
You've just won a fan in me, mate. Up north, we fucking love it.
But I met two of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life who've become dear friends of mine, Tom Reed Wilson and
Of
Louise,
course.
right?
I love them both.
Yeah, and so when I work on Celebs Go Dating, it never feels like work. It is hanging out with my two buddies for
Yeah.
like 2-3 months. So like, who would not want that? And you get paid to do it, and you meet great people, and you get to
It's a
drink
win-win.
tequila with Pete. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's Celebs Go Dating. For Married at First Sight, I honestly feel like this is going to sound wild, but I feel like this is part of my ministry, right? When
Mm.
when couples are sitting on that couch at the commitment ceremony, I always am thinking about them, and I'm also thinking about the audience. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking that there are uh, boyfriends and girlfriends, girlfriends and girlfriends, husbands and husbands watching this show, and they don't have therapy, and this is their only opportunity to get some counseling. This is going to be it. What is said to the couples on the couch, right,
Yeah.
is going to have to translate to the folks watching at home,
Yeah.
and it could make or break their relationship at home. That's a huge responsibility. It's a huge amount of
Huge.
pressure, but I take that on, and I appreciate,
Yeah.
and it feels like a blessing. So that's why I love Married at First Sight. So I love them both. I love them both.
So Celebs Go Dating is your fun, and Married at First Sight is your fucking community service.
Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
I'll stop because I don't want to get you fired. Right. Do we think there's a bird out there for Pete? Is he ever going to have any luck?
Oh my god! I mean, well, we got a new series coming up. Pete, I'm gonna say this, man. Pete is one of the sweetest, and
Love him.
one of the
Love him.
loveliest, sweetest, and I believe he's going to become the most incredible husband and father one day. I truly believe that.
Oh, that means so much to me that you say that, because obviously Pete's been there for me through like thick and thin. And like when I had that really horrible breakup that I told you about before, like Pete was one of the first people to call me and be like, I never liked the cunt anyway. Like he was just so nice to me. And he was like, right, we're going out, we're getting drunk. And I know to people that might sound problematic, but it was actually what I needed. Like I needed to go out and laugh and like get things off my chest and let me hair down and all those things. And it was so lovely. And he's such a great friend.
Yeah.
And I know not everybody needs this like perfect significant other to be happy. Some people are just happy in the stage they're at. But yeah, whenever Pete is ready, I really hope he finds someone just as amazing as he is.
Yes, I agree. And I believe he will. I believe he will.
I'm sure you'll be a part of it somehow, helping him find it, because he's talking shite on his own.
I've been trying for 4 years, Vicky.
You and me both, pal. I think I've been trying a little bit longer. Paul, it's been such an honor to talk to you, actually, and I could talk to you all day. You just have this really gorgeous, like, natural, like, lovely energy, and yeah.
Same.
Long may you stay in England and grace our TV screens.
The same. I lovely, and I love your love for your partner. I love that. I could feel it, and I think it's beautiful.
You should catch us when he hasn't emptied the dishwasher, mate. You'd have a different opinion then. But before I let you go, here at Vicky Pattison, The Secret To, we do always ask our gorgeous guests to give our lovely listeners a little pearl of wisdom. And I know there'll be people listening to this who are potentially struggling to find someone who is everything they want and makes them feel happy and makes them feel whole, and is feeling all of those anxieties that you get when you see everybody around you seemingly having it worked out when you don't. So I want to know if you had any advice for those people and what your secret was to finding your perfect match.
Yeah, this is a great question. I think that throughout our conversation today, we've been talking about safety, we've been talking about effort. And the reason why so many of us don't find strong relationships is because we're willing to suffer through weak ones.
Say it fucking louder for the people at the back. Woo! I have suffered, and I know all my mates have suffered through so many terrible ones, because I don't know if they've observed that love at home as children. I don't know whether they feel like it's all they deserve, but like, that is it. You will settle for the love you think you deserve.
Absolutely.
And we need to realize we deserve more, right?
We need to know we deserve more. And so I always say, ask yourself the simple question: do I feel safe in this relationship that I'm in? Do I feel like I can be me? I could share my fears. I could share my visions and my dreams. So do I feel safe? And then, is my partner making effort? Because remember, you're either healing together or you're creating trauma together. There's no in between. So are we making effort to be better? If the answer to either of those is no, you don't feel safe, if your partner's not making effort, then guess what you do?
Yeah. You leave. You go.
You go.
Can I ask you a question, Paul?
Yes.
What if you've got one of them? What if you're safe, but you're not?
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's the reason why it takes two to tango. You know what I mean? you need to think about this. You could be safe all you want, but if you have someone who's making no effort, that means they're never going to be willing to address any issues. They can never be wrong, right? It means that they're creating trauma. They're creating trauma for you. And so you have to go.
And maybe it's not even safety that you feel in those scenarios, it's complacency. You know that person feels like you're not going to do anything, so you both just sit there not quite as happy as you could be, completely complacent.
So you just brought up the magic C word. And it's not, because I see you there are many C's that you like.
You know, babe, she's got a colourful vocabulary, but no, it's complacency you're talking about, is it?
So complacency actually, I think, kills more relationships than cheating, right? Is complacency.
Wow.
But then also, John Gottman, who's one of the OGs around marriage therapy, says that he could predict whether or not you'll be together or break up with 99% accuracy. And that is if he sees one of the C's, and that is if he sees contempt. So if your partner disrespects you, it could be an eye roll, it could be talking down towards you, it could be making fun of you, right? But if they disrespect you, that is a form of contempt. 100%. That means they believe they are above you, and that is a relationship that will not work. So it's about being aware of these things. Contempt. Yeah. It's about being aware of effort. It's about being aware of safety. You know what? It's about being aware of attachment theory. Honestly, I think listening to this episode in itself is a form of therapy, right?
Oh, 100%.
Understanding these concepts. Absolutely.
I felt helped by it, and I consider myself, I thought I'd worked through all my issues and was really healthy and happy, but fuck no, I feel like I've learned today.
Good.
Oh, thank you, Paul. You're the best. I love you a bit.
Thank you. Love you too. Great. Enjoyed it very much.